Hello and welcome to Thrive Monday. We've prepared a beginner's tutorial on how to use Monday.com. If you've ever felt overwhelmed managing projects, keeping track of deadlines, and knowing what is being performed for specific tasks, then Monday.com is a great platform to do so. And today we're going to be showcasing how to set up basic functionalities. By the end of this video, you should know how to set up your Monday.com boards, create basic automations, integrations, and communicate internally with your team. So let's get started. So what exactly is Monday.com? Well, essentially, it's an all-in-one project management software that can also be used as a CRM and sales pipeline, but that will be a separate video that we're going to be coming out with shortly, so make sure to subscribe. So let's get started by creating a board. A board is the backbone of Monday.com. It's where you're going to be creating projects, tasks, tracking data, and much more. So let's just start out by creating one together. Now, starting off, we're going to have a blank slate. And if you take a close look on the top left corner, I'm currently on the Monday CRM. If you're on work management, do not worry. It's basically the same thing. There's only a minor difference between both platforms, but everything that I mentioned in this video is 100% applicable to you as well. Now, we could just start by clicking Add from Templates. And feel free to scroll and see what type of templates would actually be a good foundation for you. There's a lot of templates to choose from, but for the sake of this example, I'm going to start off manually. And to manually add our first board, we're going to be clicking this blue square with the plus in the middle. And we are going to choose board. Now, for the sake of this example, I'm going to use a product launch. Make sure to name this something that will be really straightforward to everyone that's going to be using the system and for yourself as well. Now, we do have different privacy options, main, private, and shareable. If you want this board to be private to specific team members, you can choose private, but for the sake of this example, I'm going to be using main, and let's create our board. Now, once we've created our first board, it's time to add some structure. So boards are divided into groups, items, and columns. As you can see, I'm adding different columns as we speak. Think of groups as categories or phases like to do or in progress and completed. Within each group, you'll add individual items. These could be tasks, projects, or any other data you're tracking. So we're going to start off by creating a couple of additional groups. And since we're going to be using product launch, we need to think strategically about what type of phases we're going to be tracking within a product launch. So let's say first we have design of the product. Then we need to actually develop the product. Then we need to test the product. And then we need to launch the product. Great. So let's start out by creating a couple of different items. These are the actual tasks or entries that you'll be managing. Since this is the design group, we need to strategically think what we need in design. So let's say initial draft. Then we need to review the draft. And then we need to develop the design. Now, for example, let's just have an example item. And if we want to delete this item, we can easily just click on the box to the left and just click delete. We can talk about statuses. Now, what are statuses? This is the perfect way to indicate what part of a design we're currently in or the status of the project. Now, initially, we have working on it, stuck, done, but we can easily add anything that we would like by adding a new label and naming it start initial design or draft. Then we would probably have a status that says review draft. And then we have ready for development. Great. Now, what does this actually allow us to do? So once we've updated the statuses, we can actually choose the appropriate status. So for initial draft, start initial draft. For review draft, and then for develop and design, we have ready for development. So now once we have our statuses, we can focus on the different columns. And keep in mind that it's really easy to edit these columns. If I want text to be comments, we can just modify that. And now we can use the text column that was originally here and input comments. I need to start the initial. Now we can easily add more columns by just clicking this button here, this plus, add column, and we see that we have essentials, super useful. Now, depending on what you're looking to achieve, you can just add a column easily from here, or if you don't see something that would be useful, click on more columns and feel free to browse and see what you think would be best for your current use case. Now, since we probably won't need email, we can just get rid of this by just clicking the 3 dots and delete. And again, with a click of a button, we can add something that would be more useful for us for design, for development, for task, for test product, and for launch product. So a really neat feature about Monday.com is that we can create valuable automations to save us a ton of time. And to add automations, just click on the automate button and add custom automation. Now we have a wide variety of automations, but for example, let's say when a status changes to something, then move it to a different group. Now to showcase this, let's just think logic. So for this example, since we have the final phase of design is develop the design, then we probably need a status that says, okay, start development. So let's add a label. Okay, so now we have start development, and to create the automation, we would go to automate, add custom automation, and when a status changes to something, then do this. Perfect. Now we have status, and we're going to choose start development, then we're going to move it to develop. Let's create the automation, and let's test it out. Okay, so now we have design is ready for development. Let's click start development, and we're going to see how an automation is going to take place and move it into the develop category. If you have tasks that are static and the same employee or team member always works on that specific task, we can automatically assign them when a status changes. An example would be, let's say when we want to start development, we always want to assign me, Emil, to this task for ready for development. Then we can create a valuable automation that would look like this. So when a status changes to something, then assign a person. So when a status is start development, me, Emil, as the person that is assigned to that task. And let's create the automation. And let's test it out. Start development. So we can see that I was assigned. Another helpful feature is not only can we automatically assign a person to a task, but we can also create custom notifications to make sure that they're aware of everything going on, and we can send it to their email and have a personalized message. Now, to do this, we can go to automate, add automation. When a status changes to something, then we want to notify that person. So when the status changes to start development, we want to notify Emil, hey Emil, we are ready to start developing the design. Okay, so we want to notify Emil that, hey, we're ready to start developing the design. Perfect, and then we're going to use me since I am Emil, and we're going to create this automation. Perfect. Now let's test it out. And we're ready to start development. Great. So if we go to my email, we can see that I was assigned to a specific task. I can click on it and have easy access to it. And we can also see that I received the message that I just input. We also have the ability to add sub-items. So for initial draft, if we want to add some additional layers, we can click the button right here, expand this item, and add a sub-item. So if for initial draft, we have different phases. So phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. We can add that as a sub item. And again, we can have an owner, so the person that's dedicated to phase 1, phase 2, different statuses here, dates, and add a lot of columns depending on what we need for this use case. So we can also create a different status column to track progress. So let's go to status. And let's edit this. So let's say that I was assigned to design ready for development, but I haven't started working on it. And just to notify my project manager, CEO, or whoever needs to know this information, I'm going to click not started. If I'm working on it, I will just click working on it, or if I'm stuck. And this provides us with a really nice overview of the progress of a specific task that our employees or coworkers are working on. Monday also allows us to provide valuable updates and communicate internally with our colleagues. So if we click on open, and I can provide an update. So let's say I need Peter's help. I can tag him. And I can easily update it. And he will be tagged, he can reply, he can like it, we can have a communication thread below, and the awesome thing is that we can also see if the person saw this. So if Peter saw this 2 hours ago and he hasn't responded, I can ask him, hey Peter, can you please respond as soon as possible? I saw you saw the message, or whatever the use case. We can also use the updates to log internal notes or just provide someone with some more information. So as we see, I'm working on it, the graphics are slowing me down, might be an hour behind schedule. And then I can tag my project manager or anyone that needs to see this information, and I can just update it. And we'll have a historical log of the updates and communication with our team with a click of a button. Now, if you want to have easy access as in a report or Gantt view, Kanban view, we can easily add that by clicking this plus up here, add a view, and we can choose Kanban, Gantt view, let's choose Kanban. And we can see, okay, so we have one task in start initial draft, review, and this provides us with a really easy way to see everything that we're looking for. We can also add a Gantt view. So as you can see, it's really easy to add different views depending on what you're looking for. We also have a calendar view that will allow you to modify this to your liking, and we can actually track specific time frames, and we can also know when we have a deadline that's coming up or whatever the use case. Another valuable automation is when a task is done, we need to notify a project manager, our manager, or if someone is waiting for us internally to finish a task so they can start working on their task, we can also set that up as an automation. And to do that, we go to automate, add automation. When the status changes, notify. Status changes to done, then notify, hey Peter, I'm done my task. XYZ, perfect. And then I want to notify Peter. Create automation. Now, when I hit done, Peter is going to get notified, and we can be very creative with this depending on the different tasks and groups. Monday also allows us to create integrations with some of our favorite tools. So we can go to integrate. And for example, if I want to create an integration with Slack, Gmail, Outlook, whatever the use case, I just click on here and we can see that we also have some templates that we can use. We're also going to be coming out with a more detailed video about integrations and automations. Make sure to subscribe so you get a notification when we launch those videos. They're going to be extremely useful, I guarantee. Another really useful tool that Monday provides is creating dashboards for specific boards. So to add a dashboard that we can modify with custom KPIs, we can hit the plus, go to dashboard. And since this is going to be the dashboard for product launch, we're going to say dashboard, product launch dashboard, create the dashboard, and we're going to have an option to link it. Okay, so we need to find the board. So this is the product launch board. I want to link it with exactly this and hit done. Now it's really easy to add some widgets. So just click on add your first widget. And let's say I want a chart. And this indicates how many tasks are currently in start development, ready for development, review draft, start initial draft. To add some more, we can just click on add widget. We can add battery, Gantt view, and we can really play around with this and create a lot of custom KPIs.